going to be talking about the Google Ads grant and increasing awareness using the Google Ads grant. So let's get started with that. The real question here when you think about the Google Ads grant is or when you think about awareness, is how can we connect with the people who share our interests and values, right? That's what you want to do when you're creating awareness. You don't want to reach just everybody. You want to reach the people who share your interests and values, because those are the people who are most likely to be able to connect with you and become supporters of your organization. And one possible answer to that is through the Google Ads grant. So let's talk about the Ads grant, what it is, and how you can make use of it. So what is the Google Ads grant? If you aren't familiar with it, it is part of Google for nonprofits. It gives you the ability to run up to $10,000 in Google search ads for free each month. And it's a great resource for driving new users to your website. That is, in a nutshell, what the Google Ads grant is. Who can use it? The Ads grant is available to organizations who participate in the Google for Nonprofits program. If you qualify for Google for Nonprofits, you should have access to the Ads grant. If you're not familiar with Google for Nonprofits, that's a program from Google. They provide to nonprofits free access to a number of tools. The G Suite, free tools for YouTube, and Google Ads grant are some of the things that are available through there. Qualifications to be able to be part of Google for Nonprofits: you've got to be a 501c3 if you're in the United States. There are qualifications that vary country by country, but for the US, you've got to be a 501c3 organization. You also can't be a school, college, or university. You can't be a hospital or other healthcare provider. So those are the exclusions. The good news is that, in my experience, most ministries qualify because most ministries are already recognized as a 501c3. They've gone through that process, and so they qualify to access the Google Ads grant. So what is it that you get when you sign up for the Google Ads grant? It gives you the ability to run search ads on Google for free. And those are the ads that show up in search results. And you can do that up to a value of $10,000 a month, every month. It just continues. What you don't get other types of Google ads. So if you're familiar at all with Google advertising, you know that they actually have a number of different types of advertising in their platform. That includes remarketing ads, trying to reach people who have been to your website, banner ads or display ads, YouTube ads. Those are not included in the Google Ads grant. You can still have those. You can have them, but they have to be in a separate account. So you can still do those paid types of ads, and they are useful to do, but they have to be in a separate account. Having a separate account isn't a problem. You can have more than one Google Ads account for an organization. There's no limitations there. So search ads, these are a kind of a different animal. Let's talk about what search ads are, because this is specifically the type of ads that you can get through the Google Ads grant. And let's see if I can get this to show up. There it is. There's a screenshot. I did this search last night. I Googled what is evangelism, and here we are. This is the top of the second page of results. You can see the first two results on this page. They've got that little indication on the left. It says ad right before the URL. And so these first two results are ads. They look very much like the organic result that's at the bottom there, the third result, what is evangelism really, from Outreach Magazine. But the two above it are paid ads. These are ads that came from Google Ads. I can't tell you if they were from the Google Ads grant or if they were a paid ad, but there's no differentiation on the public side. People don't know how you got access to it. And so that's what we're talking about when we talk about that free advertising from Google. The Ads grant is going to give you the ability to place ads like this, text ads, in search results. So they're text ads. They're very, very similar to search results, and they are prompted by keywords. These two ads here, talking about evangelism, are prompted by my search for evangelism. So there's a connection between those. Those ads aren't being displayed simply because I was on Google, like a banner ad might be displayed simply because I was on Google. Or simply because I was on a website. They're being displayed because of the keywords that I searched for. The ads were set up to look for people searching for those keywords. So that is an important distinction about search ads. It's really what makes search ads different. You know, if you think about regular digital ads, if you've had any experience with this, whether it's running Facebook ads or ads on another platform, it's a pretty easy process, relatively speaking, to get set up. You get your creative in there, you know, you get your image, you get your headline, your link, you define the audience, you know, what people do you want to reach. You set a schedule, you know, it's going to run from start on this date and run, you know, for whatever amount of time. And then you allot a budget, right? You say, I want to spend either this much per click, or I want to spend this much per impression, or I only want to spend, you know, $100 total. You figure out your budget. So you've got your creative, your audience, your schedule, your budget, and then you hit play and you just watch the impressions grow because it just happens, right? With search ads, it's a different animal. Okay, so with search ads, you add your creative, yes. So you're not going to be putting a video or a photo up there, but you are going to put your headline, you're going to put your text and your link. You're going to define your keywords. So you're going to say, okay, for this ad, these are the keywords that I want it to show up for. When people search these keywords, I want this ad to show up. And then you wait. You don't necessarily see impressions right away. You have to wait and see how that ad actually performs. And what is it that you're waiting for? This is the part where it's just a completely different animal from the other types of advertising that are out there. You are waiting to see, is anyone searching for the keywords that you've identified? You're waiting to see if the ad grant budget that you have allows you to bid for those keyword impressions. Perhaps you've chosen keywords that have a high cost and you just can't reach it with what's available in the ads grant budget. You're waiting to see if the ad and the content are relevant enough to place when someone searches. And this is important to know, because it's not just a matter of I've identified this keyword and therefore Google will show the ad. Google actually is looking at your ads and your keywords, and they're evaluating the same way that they evaluate content for search engine optimization. They want to make sure that the ads they're presenting are relevant to the people who are searching. And so they're going to evaluate the keywords, and they're going to evaluate the content in your ad, and they're going to evaluate the landing page that you've pointed to, and they're going to compare all of those things and say, is this a relevant ad to show for this search? And I've just prompted Alexa to start talking. So they're evaluating all of these things, and they're going to compare them against what other ads are out there that they've got lined up that potentially are bidding for those same keywords. They're also going to be comparing them to the search history for the person who's searching, because every person's search results are unique. Right? So is this a good ad to display in this search result? Is it a good ad to display for this keyword? Is it a good ad to display for this person, because each person's results are unique? And is it a good ad to display at this time? Because all of this is taken into account when Google chooses what they're going to display. And so that's why we're waiting, right? We're waiting to see how Google is going to evaluate your ad content, how they're going to evaluate its performance, and what opportunities it's going to give you. And so you're watching for those impressions. You're watching for a keyword score to come back to see how Google scores the keywords they give you. And then you're going to walk through that and see, okay, maybe it's working great. And so you don't touch anything, but maybe you're seeing a really low click-through rate or really low impressions, or maybe you're getting low scores on your keywords. And so then you're going to go and you're going to tweak it. You're going to work on it to try to get it to place a little better. There are some other requirements in order to keep your Google Ads grant. Your ads have to align with your mission. You can't be advertising something that doesn't have anything to do with the mission of your organization, nor would you want to. Your ads have to adhere to certain quality words around keywords. They don't like generic keywords. They don't like single keywords. They don't like keywords that come back with a low score. You also have to maintain a click-through rate, a 5% minimum click-through rate on your ads. It means of everybody who sees your ad, at least 5% of those people need to click on it. And you have to have at least some conversion tracking in place. Now, if you think about it, all of these things are things you want to do anyway, right? You want your ads to align with your mission. That's why you're promoting your organization, your ministry on the platform. And you want quality keywords because you want a good experience, and you want a good click-through rate because you want people coming to your site. And yes, you want to have conversion tracking in place because you want to be able to know if you're making a difference. So all of these things make sense, but they are all things that you need to engage in order to keep the ads grant. And you have to follow the rules. You need to follow the rules for what Google lays down in terms of just their general advertising. They have rules for advertising regardless whether you're in the ads grant or not. You got to follow those rules. Things like you can't be using somebody else's copyrighted or trademarked materials. You can't be promoting weapons sales, things like that. Generally speaking, pretty easy to follow those rules when you're promoting a ministry. All right, so all of that is all well and good, but how is that going to help me increase awareness, right? That's the question. Search ads introduce your ministry to new people who are interested in what you have to say. And this is an important distinction. They are not people who are searching for your ministry by name. Okay. Instead, they are people who are doing topical searches and then finding content from your ministry that aligns with their search intent. If you think back to the example I provided about what is evangelism, perfect opportunity for a ministry that has an evangelism focus, or a ministry that focuses on equipping people for evangelism, to have content that shows up in that space, right? So this is people who are not necessarily aware of your ministry now, who are looking for something that your ministry has something to do with, that your ministry speaks to, and that you are able to align their search intent with what your ministry provides. We've looked at the accounts that we manage. We manage a number of ads grant accounts for ministries here at 5Q, and I ran the numbers and pulled the average over the last 12 months of data across all of those accounts. 97% of the users that came from ads grant to their websites were clicks from new users, people who are brand new to their website. And they're coming not to the homepage, but they're coming to pieces of content inside the website. So this is a great way to introduce an entirely new audience to who you are and what you have to do. And you may be asking, okay, that's great, 97%, but how many people are we talking about? The results are going to vary by ministry and by the goals you have set up, and by other factors. So each ministry's experience will be unique. But for the clients that we manage, again, we've run the numbers, and the average number of clicks from ads grant is 110,000 clicks a year for the clients we manage. And that is in a range. At the low end of the range, clients running around 51,000 a year. At the high end, 161,000 a year. So there is a spectrum there, but if you are able to fully optimize that account and spend the full 10,000 every month, and you're able to make sure you're getting a good solid click-through rate on all of your ads, and that's what we focus on when we're managing an account for someone, then you should be able to achieve numbers in this range, in this 50 to 150,000 clicks a year coming from the Google Ads grant. And this is introductions to new people who are interested in what your ministry is interested in, and an opportunity to introduce yourself to them. So there you go. That's increasing awareness with the Google Ads grant. We do have a resource. If you'd like to learn more about the ads grant, just go to 5q.com/ads grant, and you can download the resource there and learn more about it. And if you've got questions about ads grant, I'm always happy to take those and to help you figure out if it's a good fit for you. And with that, we'll move on to the next Tech Talk.